Hi everyone, my name is Natalie Dawson. Welcome to Leader Talk. This show is proudly brought to you by Brainiact. Each week we are meeting with incredible leaders from around the world to discuss all things leadership and business insights. Each person coming on this talk show has given up their valuable time for one very clear purpose: to give back to small and medium business owners. Many of us will agree that building your business from scratch involves lots of sacrifices, as well as learning new processes and skills to help your business grow. Now, the million-dollar question is, how do we continue to grow when we are faced with major challenges? Whether it's a global financial crisis, inflation, a pandemic, or even supply chain issues. Today, my co-host, CEO of Peerlight, Gus Arianto, and I are fortunate to chat to our guest speaker, Kenny Tosh, owner of AAC Walling Systems. Kenny built his business from scratch, and today it is a huge success. Kenny is here today to share with us all his secret recipe for building a successful and profitable business. Welcome to the show, Kenny.
How you going, guys?
Hello, Kenny. Thank you for donating your time for all of us.
My pleasure. I'm humbled, but very happy to be asked to come on the show to talk to two of you today.
We look forward to learn from you, mate.
Thanks, Kenny. We're definitely looking forward to learning from you. And before we do that, we do want to ask you two fun questions that we ask all our guests, two fun questions. Our first one we'd love to know is, if you could be any animal at all, what animal would you choose to be and why?
I think, what animal would I choose to be? Maybe like a squirrel or something. A little bit cheeky, likes to climb up trees. My kids ask this question sometimes when we're sitting having dinner, and I'll pick a nice animal, but they always say I'm a lion. So I think in regards to what choice I have, I think they see me as a lion and I see myself as a squirrel. So probably a quantum leap from each other, but who knows?
That is an interesting answer. You didn't get that. I thought you will say you are a lion, but fantastic answer.
No, I don't see myself in that light. I see myself as a lot softer than that, to be honest with you, Gus.
Fantastic.
Oh, that's a great one. And what about your favorite food, Kenny? Do you have a favorite food?
That generally depends on what kind of weekend I've had. I do love soups, though. I love soups. So, which seems, again, quite random. Maybe squirrels like soup. Maybe that's why. But I do love a good homemade soup. My wife makes a great pea and ham or a lentil soup. So I love that with a bit of crusty bread. And if she feels a little bit fancy, she generally tries to do some of those the little cheesy biscuit things. What are they called? She melts them on the pan. That's very tasty. So a nice homemade soup I do love.
Oh, fantastic. Have you tried Russian food, borscht?
I have. I went to the World Cup the last time, and
that's what I did too. Yeah.
Well, I did have some of that, and I was sitting in a restaurant with a mate of mine, and these three Russian guys could see what we were ordering, and I could see them laughing, and I thought, why are they laughing at us? And he said, I think because you've ordered that soup, and it came, and it was shocking. Maybe it wasn't borscht. I think it was another one I ordered, but it was terrible. It was cold and had all these sour things in it, so I'm not going to do that again.
I don't think it was borscht, because I tried borscht. I was in Russia too. It was beautiful. That and soy lanka.
Is that beetroot borscht?
Beetroot, yes.
Yeah, no, it wasn't that. It was some random dish, a speciality, but it wasn't very special.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't know about a cold soup. That's not what I imagine soup to be.
No, not my favourite. That.
And Kenny, before we go on to the questions, we were hoping you can introduce yourself to the audience so they know who is Kenny Tosh, and if you can tell us a bit more about your business, AAC Walling Systems.
Yeah, look, I'm Kenny Tosh, as you said. I came to the country, I think it's nearly 22 years ago next month. Arrived in the country as a carpenter. Wasn't sure what I was going to be doing. Did a bit of carpentry work for a few years, then through and played soccer for all different teams. I had a strategy when I first came here that in regards to soccer, I wouldn't stay at the same team for any longer than 2 years. My theory on that was that every time I moved the club, I'd meet another 30 people, because I thought, how am I going to get a circle of friends or acquaintances in the country? And that was the easiest way to do it. The funny thing at the time was, then football was the same as Aussie rules was the same as soccer, that people generally stayed in the same club for years. They never moved as much as they do now. So by me moving every 2 years, I looked like a bit of a charlatan or looking for money all the time. But that wasn't the case, because sometimes I moved for less money just so I could be at a different club. So that helped out a lot. And through that soccer situation, I ended up moving from carpentry to working as a waterproofing supervisor for a company from a guy. And then from his company then went on to run the whole construction side of his company within a period of 6 years. So we looked after, I was a general manager for him there in construction, which was on cladding, gyprocking and whatnot, and waterproofing. So I looked after those areas. Then me and him had a little bit of a run-in. I felt I could do what I was doing better. Thus, Eco started, which is now 16 years next month. Started Eco and kept going from there pretty much. You want me to keep elaborating from that, Gus? Or
No, that's okay. I think from there, everyone know that your business has been very successful in the Adelaide regions of Australia. And I think one thing that we want to explore is how, 16 years in the business, where the business is quite, kind of, it's not very special. I mean, every building have cladding. So people that understand carpentry, people that understand construction, if they want, they can actually compete with you. But the fact that you've been around for 16 years, I think Natalie and I will explore that. So I pass the mic back to Natalie.
Yeah, and I absolutely agree, Gus. Like, I mean, during those 16 years, there would have been lots of challenges you faced. I mean, we've all recently experienced COVID-19, the pandemic, but there were global financial crises, all different things. Let's start talking about resilience. How did you stay resilient during these really difficult times? I mean, 16 years and you're such a successful business. You would have faced some really tough times.
The funny thing is, I think you're better with problems. And I'll explain that to you. We started in 2006 with, I remember me and she was my partner at the time now, thankfully she's now my wife. We started at the dining table and I said, look, I could probably do this myself. And I had a couple of clients ring me and said, look, you should do this. We'll use you if you start up on your own, blah, blah, blah. So I went, okay, no problem, let's have a crack. And my stomach was absolutely churning. I thought, this is going to be a nightmare, really scared. Worked out in my head that if we could turn over this amount, that would be equivalent to what I was being paid on wages for the company I worked for at the time. Now, the amazing thing was we turned over that exact amount based on no formula or anything. That first year was exactly that amount. I then had to go and find workers. So pretty much went for the best workers I knew in the environment at that time and said to them, look, if you ever get bored, come and work for me. I had no jobs at the time, though. Then we found jobs, picked up a couple of big ones, and then it started from there. Little did I know, probably 10 months later, the GFC was going to hit. So I started a business 1 year before the GFC and this was a key element to diversity and resilience. I looked at the situation and I thought, right, and we spoke about this earlier, Gus, we either hold my prices to the value that they are and hopefully hit that high-end market, and everybody's going to do less work, but I should still have enough and the margins will still be there. Or I drop the margins, try and get more work and have the same turnover, but with less margin, and on the pretense that at some stage the GFC will stop. As long as we service those builders, whether it be 9, 10 or 15 builders or whatever it was at the time, as long as I service them, when the GFC changes, then they will grow. So just the fact that I'm on the back of that horse, my company will grow through default, as long as I give them the service they do. And that's pretty much what I did. We dropped the margins, we took on the clients, we took on more clients. And in South Australia, it's massively about relationships. And if they know that if someone's doing lightweight cladding at the time, and even bricklayers shot themselves in the foot at the time because they thought they were like lawyers. They were charging through the teeth. which gave the lightweight market, which you would have known at the time, Gus, an opportunity to get their foot in, where architects, clients, builders were all looking for something different, so they didn't have to go down the brick path. So that's pretty much how Eco got a big jump early on, and then the ball started to roll from that point.
So a question to you, back to what Natalie say.
Yeah.
When the problem arises, you obviously look at the situation, analyze, and readjust your boat. In your case, you try to back up the big customers, maintaining the service, reducing your margin so you can still have jobs and volume.
Yeah.
But in terms of the resilience itself, what's the message to the guys that in the similar situation? Like, I mean, yes, you change the strategy, but that's not changing the fact that the GFC still happen. Yes, you can change a million times of strategy. The pandemic still happening today.
Yep.
How do you build the resilient self?
For me, it probably goes right back to my childhood. Like as a kid, I was working at 12 years old. I was delivering milk when I was still at primary school. I'd get up in the morning, put on the balaclava, through it in the dark, and hang on the back of this milk truck, and then walk back home with a pint of milk off the back of the truck, and go home, get changed for school, went to school. Then I had 2 jobs by the time. I would deliver papers in the morning, do the school, and then come home and work in like a fish factory place after that. After school, I'd quickly sussed out though that the fish place gave me a lot more money than the paper round. So the paper round gave me £4 a week, but the fish place gave me £12 a week, and I didn't have to get up in the morning for that. So I thought I got to jack this paper round in and just focus on the fish place. So I was making decent money at 12-year-old, making that kind of money, because I come from 4 boys in our family in Scotland, and everybody was in the same boat. There wasn't much money to go around, so if you wanted some, you had to make your own. So that work ethic started right back then. Even school holidays, we would jump on a bus and go and pick potatoes in the fields in the morning. Me and my brother would go, and I would have been 10 and he would have been 8, 7 at the time. There's no way you would send your kids to do things like that now, you know. It was that cold. The tractor would go down they were called drills at the time. He would go to cut the potatoes up, and you put them on your basket as they came. We found this piece of flint and tried to make a fire in the field and all this sort of things, you know. Great memories. But that, again, that's that resilience. I touched on this before. At the age of 12, 13, when I went to high school, first year in high school, I broke my back as a kid, and wasn't allowed to do anything for a year, which was no running, no dancing, no being on a bike. The only thing I was allowed to do was walk for a year. Had to go in the French class at 11:15 in French class every week. My father would pick me up on a Friday, go to the hospital, get x-rayed again, go through the tests, see how he's going, and that took a whole year. And I would look at other kids, typically the guys that would smoke behind the bike sheds and that sort of stuff, who never wanted to do sport, and they go, "Nah, I'm not doing sport today." And you go, "I can't believe you're not doing sport," because I couldn't do it. So that whole year out, and plus I was 13 at school discos, you know. I don't mind the dance, Gus, you know. So I couldn't even do a dance at the disco. How are you supposed to attract a girlfriend if you can't dance? So all that stuff, that the resilience of all that sort of thing, I think comes through, and you don't know what's happening at the time. But by the time you get to an older guy, it's already inbred in you. So I've got the philosophy of never give up. There's always a way. They're my 2 sayings that come through. I'll always find a way to achieve what we got to do, unless you're dead, and then there's no way out from that point, you know. But if you're not, there's always a way to fix it. And and I've got a sign at the top of my stairs in the office there, which has got 2 kids sitting on a bench, and in graffiti it's got never give up. And I love that, because it's just the cuteness of it all, with the message, which is hardcore. Don't never ever give up, you know. So
Can you learn this?
Can you learn that?
Can our audience learn resilience? I mean,
I was just about to say that. Is resilience a choice? Can it be learned? Is it something? How can they do it?
I think you've got to test yourself. So resilience would be, examples of that would be, okay, just say, Gus, you might relate to this, an ice bath, for instance, right? So I could tell you to go in the ice bath for 3 minutes, right? Now, your resilience level might be 1 minute, might be 30 seconds, but you can train yourself to do it for 3 minutes. That's teaching yourself resilience. Pushing yourself beyond that point, because you swim a lot in the morning. Now, whether you're swimming 3 kilometers or 5 kilometers, at 2 kilometers, your mind will be telling you, I don't want to do this anymore. This is too hard. Well, that's resilience. It's pushing past that point of, this has become too hard. I use a term, and I'm blabbing on a little bit here with you, but I use a term of the thorny tunnel. And so when I've got employees or whoever, even my kids, when there's something to be achieved, which was really hard to get to, you have to go through the thorny tunnel. Now, the thorny tunnel starts very nice, marshmallows and flowers and all that sort of thing. But as you get to the middle of that thorny tunnel, it gets all dark and there's bushes and prickles and all sorts of things that you go, I don't want to go through here anymore. This is the scary bit. The greatest thing about that thorny tunnel is once you get past that, the thorns and the prickles and all that sort of thing, and then then you can start to see the light at the other end, then you've come through the other end. You never have to go back through that tunnel again. You never have to go back because you've pushed through it. Now, there'll be other ones that are a little bit more scary, but that's teaching you resilience. That's teaching you, I've managed to come through. Because many people get to that bit and go, this is not for me. I think I'll go back. But if you go back, you never move forward in that manner. You're always stuck without going through the prickles. There's something for you. Gosh, you never thought that would come out of my mouth, did you?
Yeah. I actually
What
love
an
it.
analogy, though. It's so true. Like, it just you could visualize that even with your daily challenges that you have as a human being, regardless if you're a business owner or not. Just picturing that tunnel. It's great.
I have it with supervisors now because there's always new guys coming on board. It's the same analogy. You have to go through it because if you don't, there's no moving forward. You're just going to consistently be stuck where you are. Now, some people are happy being there. There's no problem with that.
Yeah.
But if you want to go beyond that point, then you have to go through the pain.
Absolutely. And, even mentioning, and we had this with our last week guests, it's not just never give up. It's never, never, never give up. Such a clear message. Sometimes it's easier to give up. It really is. But pushing through that central section of that tunnel to get to the wonderful other end, it can be all worth it at the very end. What a wonderful message.
It opens up so many doors in so many different environments. Then your social life is exact same. Like when I first started Eco, and I would walk into rooms and I'd go, what am I doing here? What is this idiot doing here? But you have to keep going to those rooms. You have to keep putting your hand out and saying, how you going? Kenny, Tosh, how are you? But then 16 years on, now people come to me and say, hi, Kenny, how are you going? I love it now. But before, I try and find a space to hide in the corner. Maybe people won't notice me. I don't want to go and speak to them. I've got a fear of this. But you got to do it. Otherwise, nothing happens. Nothing will change.
You know what's funny, Kenny? I want to speak. Natalie's husband, Jared Dawson. He worked in the corporate like me, with me. Yeah. In the past, he actually worked for James Hardy as well. Mm-hmm. At one point, he led a very sizable team for a very, very large global company. Yeah. And during the pandemic, he spoke to me to open a business, and that business is named Brainiac. And I would be lying to think back then, whilst I support him, and Natalie can say I support him. I said to myself, he must be crazy to open a business in the consultancy business during the pandemic where he can't see people. Today, his business thrive. Today, he have more clients than what he expected because of what you say before. Just never give up and keep going, even when he come back and actually ask why I'm doing this instead of sitting there. Like I see this real impact when people actually don't give up.
Yeah, but Natalie's husband must have honesty, integrity, drive, passion.
Absolutely.
It's fine to say never give up, but that's just like telling a dog to bash its head against the wall. To keep doing it, keep doing it. It'll keep doing it. But not again, there has to be other things that you bring into the situation. The reason his business would be succeeding is because he's delivering on what he's promising. If you say I'm going to sell 15 bananas a day, and then the guy comes to your shop and he says, I'll have 15 bananas, and you say, I'll only sell apples, your business is going to last for a day because you don't sell bananas. And I know I come up with analogies all the time, Natalie. It's a shocking thing I do.
Oh, I love it. Oh, no, I love it. I love it.
It's a true fact. You've got to deliver these other things. You can be passionate, but if you don't bring them all together, it's pointless. It's a pointless exercise.
Absolutely. You're right. You have to have that vision. You have to have that passion. Jared does have that. And I can see you've got that passion even with your business. Correct, Kenny? From the very beginning, you were passionate about what you were doing. Otherwise, you wouldn't have started this business. Am I correct?
It's my major asset, but it's my major Achilles heel. Because I'm that passionate about it. I won't get, when I say never give in, I never give in. So even if there's a job sitting out here, my estimators give me hassle about this. Because they'll go, don't chase that job. Don't chase that job. And I go, I got to win it. I got to win the job. And it could be for any reason. It could be for anything to get done. We've got too much on, da-da-da. But if it's in front of me, I have to win it. And that even to the point of, I've had builders who are good friends of mine now, and they go to me, we have never met anyone so determined and aggressive to win the job as you. You're relentless in what you do. And they're going, even now that the company runs really well, I really don't have to chase the jobs. But I love chasing the jobs. I love the fact of doing it. I said to Gus the other day, we're known for our signs on the sites. And I think we were one of the first people in Adelaide to start doing that sort of stuff with the branding. Like when I started Eco, the funny thing was I had to make the first quote 101. So people would think I've been in business longer than what I was. It couldn't be quote number 1. I had my car branded with this massive Eco sign, so everybody would see it. I got this sign made the same size as a whole fence panel, which was like 3 meters by, so you couldn't miss it. So all of a sudden, it was in their mind that we'd been around for a while. We'd been around for half an hour, but they thought we'd been around for a long time. And I had to create that persona that people go, oh yeah. Now people say, I see your signs everywhere. But I was having a laugh the other day with a guy because he says, you got signs on every fence. And I say, yeah, I just put signs on fences. We don't have any jobs, but if there's a fence there, I'll just put a sign on. But I've still got signs in my car, even now, that I'll put signs on the fence. I'll drive down the street and come back up again to see what it looks like, to see if I've got it sitting right. Still now. I love that. That's what I love, Like
Kenny, sorry to cut.
Even just with the sign, sorry, Gus, we'd be in the car on a weekend, and I'd have my kids and their friends in the back, and then they created this Eco every time they saw an Eco sign. So even my mates' kids would do it, and that's a joy,
And this is what I learned. 16 years in the business, you are as passionate as the day you decided to open this business. I saw many business owners, especially the one who started a business. They're passionate about the idea, but they embarrassed about the size. So for example, someone come up with an idea, they might own a particular business. They are in the circle of their friends. Hey, what's your business? Oh yeah. And then they start looking down. I have a small shop. That's the difference between what you do, or even Jared from Brainiac.
Yeah.
He create his brand. He use his jacket, regardless. Now is growing, but on day one, he only have one client. I remember this, but he's as passionate as today as day one. And I think that the message that I learned from you, if you decided to go to a journey of opening your business or leading a business, be passionate inside and out your body. Because if you yourself not passionate, who wants to purchase your service?
No one's going to believe you. I can walk in the office here and walk past the estimators. If I come in like, oh, that was a hard week, wasn't it? What are they going to do? They'll follow suit. But if I'm going, right, boys, how we going? Like Fridays, I'll go to the estimators, find a job Friday. Person who finds the most jobs on a Friday wins a bottle of scotch. Right? Let's go. Let's see what you can find. You know, and create the kind of things. You know, you have to enjoy it, because what's the point? We're here too long. We spend too long with each other. If I didn't like them, what a pain that would be, wouldn't it? Yeah. But I do. We and just by chance this has happened. I think that all my supervisors, all the office staff, all their partners are champions as well. So we'll all go out for dinner and sit and speak, and there's not one clown in the room, apart from myself, obviously. But they all got on very, very well, and their wives got on very, very well. Now, people go to me, that's amazing you did that. I did nothing. I picked it. Some of these people, some of them were the only ones that went for the job. So it wasn't even if I picked them. I had no choice. That was the only person for it. So there is an element of luck, but there's a massive element as well of understanding people. And like, I would employ someone purely based on their mannerisms. I can teach them everything else. But if you don't come with the right attitude, manner, I don't think you're going to fit within our group of people. Doesn't matter what I teach you. It's still going to be a thorn in the side of everybody else. But fortunately, in my working environment, I've got great guys. Great guys.
That's great. And Kenny, while we're on this topic of, the employees, you manage over 200 subcontractors. It sounds like a mammoth task, really. How do you manage them all effectively? You've just mentioned now, going out for dinners and things like that. But how, when you're managing that many, and they're all subcontractors, how do you actually manage them and yet prosper and grow the business?
This was another strategy going back a few years ago. So say at that stage, we might have had 30 guys. Now, for me to find another 20 guys, one would be a problem. Two, I've got to manage another 20 guys. Well, the supervisors do. So I sat with maybe I had one supervisor at that time, and I said, look, Nick, what we're going to do, we're going to get all the subcontractors in, the leaders, and we're going to say, you're getting an opportunity to grow. You get an opportunity to grow your business. Because if Johnny has two guys and Johnny then takes on another two guys, through default, my company can double, but I'm only still dealing with one guy. So I don't have the hassle of dealing with Johnny's other four. I've only got the hassle of dealing with Johnny. And that's pretty much what we did. We went to them all. We said, here's an opportunity. You to grow your business. You've got a nice little business now. You'll get paid every single week. We'll find the jobs. You don't have to look anywhere for it. We'll fund your business and your ability to grow. But by doing that, we knew that we grew it through default. So we put it out to them, and it pretty much, that's how we can then go bum, bum, bum to grow that amount of people. My painter came on board. Oh, he would have come on board about probably 10 years ago, maybe longer. He had 4 guys. He's got 16 guys now. So his company went bang. So that's pretty much how we manage them, because we're still only dealing with maybe, say, out of those 200, maybe 35, 40 leaders. So you're only dealing with them. We're not dealing with the 200.
Yeah. How do you develop their leadership? How do you get info? Like, how do you create their loyalty? How do you manage that?
Okay, so loyalty, pretty much what we offer is work every day and paid every Tuesday, without fail. There's companies in our game who will say, oh, you don't get paid this week because we didn't get paid by so-and-so builder, right? We've always kept cash flow to a high. I've never been, and I use this term, hope this is appropriate. Use this term called fur coat, which is a fur coat, and no knickers, right? That's what I was basically situated on. The guy who drives the Lamborghini, but is cash poor, right? Up to his eyeballs in debt. We've never been in that situation, because I won't do that. I want to sleep every single night knowing that all my guys can get paid. And if the wage bill's huge, then we'll pay it. So that's a massive thing for trades, because that allows them to grow, and they know they're getting paid every week. There's no fear for them. The loyalty, managing them, I'll go randomly to some of the leaders, because some of them will go. Some of them went from maybe 3 guys to 10 guys, right? Which worked for us at the time, didn't work for them because they didn't have enough leading hands on their sites. So I would then go, look, you don't look like you're making as much money based on the people you got working for you. I think you should cut back a bit, because I need him to succeed anyway. Whether he succeeds with 10 or he succeeds with 4, we've still got him. We might need to get another team to replace half of his team, but I need him to succeed, because that guy might have been with me for 8 years and always done what I've asked of him. But they've got to know that me, as the leader of the group, and other supervisors have got their back, which we do 100% of the time if they're honourable in what they're doing. But if they start to do things that are, as I see, incorrect for our business, then the loyalty from me becomes less, because that's the way we do it here. You know, you help me, I'm going to help you 100%. Some of them have come to me with situations with their tax, or they don't know how to run this and don't know how to run that. The amount of these subcontractors who think that the money is theirs. So when they have a great week and they've earned maybe $15,000, the word tax never comes in their head on a Saturday night. Tax just sits out here somewhere, and then they get a quarterly bill and go, or BAS is another classic. What's BAS? Well, that's that 10% you take from me that you're supposed to hold for the government and give to them at the end of the quarter. Oh, so I can't spend that. Nah, you can't spend that. No, you can't spend that. And just teaching them to say, look, you work for your company. You work for them. Know that company's yours. You work for them. So set yourself up with a wage. That's what you get. If you get to the end of the year and you've got money, your accountant will say, buy a new you or whatever. But at least you can pay all the debts and your materials, instead of spending, you get 20 grand one week at Christmas and go, well, hey, party time. And then you skint again. Doesn't work. You know? So by me helping them with that, I think that creates loyalty, and it makes them better.
And you know, Kenny, just listening to you can tell, you know, you're passionate. You also seem like, you know, you're a really fun leader as well. I'd love to know, like, obviously you believe in hard work. There is a lot of work running a business. Business owners know that. How would you yourself manage your work, and then, you know, your life, and then, you know, the fun stuff? Like, I know you like football on the side. How do you actually balance all of this? Because, you know, running a business is a lot of work. We know that. There are some late nights, there's some long hours, there's sometimes you work 7 days, you know, there's things that pop up that you need to do. But how do you yourself manage work, but then all these, you know, other things that you do enjoy doing as well?
The key to that, Natalie, is a fantastic wife, because she helps me in the house. Kalina does the accounts. She's the accountant at the office here, and we work with each other every day. So we're great friends as well. She'd be my best mate. So she looks after pretty much all that kind of things, like the house, the schools, all that. I assist her when I'm making a soup, obviously. So she's a massive key to that. You find time. I'm quite robotic in what I do. Like Gus, we just spoke about before, like I'll do the gym every night. I built a gym at the back of my place. So instead of driving to the gym, it would take me 15 minutes and driving back. Within that half an hour, I'm nearly done by going out to the back of the house. And that gives me that pretty much that chill. Once you no aggression when you're in the gym, but it releases that sometimes, because some days you're like, what the heck's going on here? Which you get them some days, quite a lot sometimes. So I do that. I coach the under-10s soccer at Barcala with the kids there. Assistant coach with the schoolboys team, under-10s. That gets frustrating. Yeah.
Are you saying to us? Are you saying to us then? Everyone have 24 hours in their life each day. No one have more. Not you, not me, no one. Some people seems to be busy all the time. Some people seems to be never do anything. In the case of a business owner, we know they are busy because they have to look after their investments. What you're saying is discipline with your time and find that time for you and equally for the business. Otherwise, there's no other choice.
Yeah. There's a lot of people busy doing nothing though, Gus, isn't there? Yeah. I look, speak to some people. Yeah, flat out. What are you doing? What are you doing? Oh yeah, flat out. Doing what? I've asked you 3 times now. What are you doing? Oh, I'm not sure. All right, okay, fair enough. You must be then. Yeah, it's just discipline, you know. You can fit a lot of stuff in, and really, this thing here is your office, you know. Like even when I'm on holiday, I say to the guys, send me the message, ring me, I'll answer the phone. I'd rather deal with it than it fester, and then the problem doubles up because you didn't deal with it then. And that's another thing of being not precious. That your time shouldn't be in the business. Of course, it should be in the business. I run the business. I'm proud of the business. I'm proud of the brand. So if I'm not going to answer the phone because I'm on holiday, well, I'm an idiot then. That's that in a nutshell. Because I should be answering the phone, you know?
Yeah, it's funny. I share the same, and I hope I'm not bringing a topic that is different to what people understand around this. I share the same view, Kenny, where balance will never occur unless you understand your purpose. Well, if your purpose, you want to grow eco, then you will put everything aside to grow that, because until that happens, you will always unsettle. And the problem is, it's not so much about how many hours you spend with your family, if we take family, for example, but it's actually how many minutes you actually fully immerse with your family in that hours.
Yeah.
In my genuine opinion, there's a lot of people sitting with their family, but they don't actually talk to each other.
No.
And there's a lot of people that only have 15 minutes with their wife or their children, but they immerse themselves. And
we have dinner at the table every single night without fail. If I'm coaching the kids, we have dinner once we come back for the kids' soccer, and then they'll get washed and that sort of stuff. But every single night we sit at the table.
And yet you are a business owner that is so busy. How can you find that time, right, Natalie? That's the...
you can.
We have that same rule in our family, Kenny. Both Jared and I, that's our time with the children that we find out what they've done through the day. You know, if we need to talk about anything, but it's the dinner time that occurs around the table.
Otherwise, you would never sit with them. You wouldn't. Because as much as we say we don't want them on their gadgets and all that sort of thing, sometimes it works for us for them to be on the gadget because you've got things to do as well, you know. That sort of thing. I'm gifted with great kids. I've got 3 great kids, and they always come with us. Doesn't matter where we go. There's never been a time that me and Colleen have gone, let's go on holiday without the kids. We would feel bad. But we enjoy taking them with us everywhere. It's just one of those things. Like even like now, I just took on a new construction manager, probably 10 months ago, a guy called Andrew Forty. And the reason for that was to give me more time, because my kids are 22, 13 and 10. The 22-year-old's at uni now, so unfortunately for her, she doesn't get to come on as many holidays as she'd like to. But the 2 younger ones, I've got them for this period of time, or me and Colleen do. The deal with Andrew is every school holiday now, I'm off. And he's cool with that, but my phone's still on. I can still deal with stuff. But I'm enjoying the period of time with them, because 13 becomes 17, 18 very quickly. And then Sophia's if she's 13, she'll be like, I'm not coming. You know, and what's the point in having them unless you're going to use them, you know? Not that I use my kids, but you know the thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's a beautiful message, Kenny. And a lot of, business owners do miss out on that important time. So the fact that, how you've just explained it now, it's a really beautiful message to everyone listening.
But it can be worked, Natalie. That's the reason. I looked at it, how can I achieve this? Because what was happening for me was, the more staff you get, I was having to fall into the hole of every staff member when they went on holiday. And I'm going, this is a nightmare. I got 4 supervisors, so which means if they take 2 weeks off each a year, there's 8 weeks that I've got to then be a supervisor. Then if I've got an estimator, I'm going, this is not good. I didn't buy this T-shirt. I want to be doing something else. So that's the reason I brought Andrew on, to fill that hole, and he's more than happy to do it and more than capable. And it was great. The first time I went away, he said to me, so how does this work? Do you want me to ring you and give you an update every day, or just ring you when the crap hits the fan? And I went, yeah, do that one. Do the last one. and it works. And until it doesn't work, and then you change it again. And that's resilience. And working out the best way. But at the moment, it works for us, which is great.
That's brilliant. And Kenny, look, I want to touch on sales because I think we can learn a lot from you. You mentioned it briefly at the beginning. You know, not everyone there are business owners out there. Gus knows when it comes to sales, I don't like it. But, you know, there's business owners out there that really don't like selling, yet without selling, I mean, how is your business supposed to thrive?
No, you're right.
Did you agree with this? So without the kind of selling, you know, we all need to sell whether we like it or not. Do you have any suggestions to business owners that may not like to sell on how to actually do this? How can they overcome this? Because without it, we know the business is not going to thrive, whether it's a year, 2 years. If you're not selling, the work won't come in.
The first element of that is going through that prickly bush again, because the sales is key element of that is walking in that tunnel and going, this guy's aggressive. I don't want to go and speak to him. He might speak to me badly. I don't want to be talked down to, all that sort of thing. So you've got to get through that tunnel first. A story. When I moved from carpentry and I started looking after the other guy's business, we started waterproofing from zero, which pretty much he said to me, we've got no clients, and he gave me the yellow pages and a list of builders. It was olden days time, Gus. There was no so much internet and that sort of thing there. Yellow pages and a list of builders. Start ringing builders and getting appointments, and we're going to tell them that we're waterproofers, right? I'm like, hang on. I'm here to run these things. I'm not salesman. I'm not selling. I mean, this is not what I do. Fast forward to now, I love it. It's the best part of my job. I love the chase of it. I love when you've chucked the hook in the water and you know it's on, you're pulling, you're going, I gotta get this. Even if it's a shocking job, I still got to get it. And the benefit of Eco now, the sales part of it becomes a lot less because we don't have to chase the quotes anymore. The quotes generally come to us, plans will come to us on a daily basis that they can't keep up. So that's a gift in our game. But early days, I had to sell the fact that, yeah, I know I've not been doing this for long, but I can do this. But when you sit in front of someone and they can see your passion, they know you've got integrity, they know your honesty, then you have to deliver. But once you've delivered once, the second sales is so much easier because that's the sales when you go out for lunch and go, oh yeah, I've got 15 jobs because you did this first one, right? And even knowing that they've got that in the background is even more reason to land the bait so you can catch the bigger fish. So the fact that sales for me now is a real joy. I love it. But there's a massive scary point in it.
And I think that's the clear message where, you know, now you love it, but it was okay to be afraid of it at the very beginning because, you know, sometimes doing those cold calls or walking into a shop to hand out your business card, perhaps, you know, as a plumber, for example, that can be quite daunting, not knowing how the person's going to receive it. If you made a call, they're going to hang up on you or they're going to close the door in your face, because that can happen. I mean, how do you bounce back from that then, I guess, Kenny? Because obviously you're not going to win everything, right? And, you know, you said you like, you know, throwing the bait out there and hooking it in. How do you bounce back from those ones that you don't actually, you don't get? Are you used to now just kind of going, yep, the next one will come? Like, is there a period you go through to get to that?
No, I think age and experience does it. I think there's been many times you're down and go, I should have got that. I should. My issue now is I could win 15, but because I lost that one, I'm spewing. But it shouldn't be that way. My guys will go, we won all these. Yeah, but didn't get that one. Yeah, but there was no margin in it. It was a poor job, whatever. But going back to people who are first starting out in sales, I did telemarketing in Scotland. Hated that. I've done so many different jobs that I think I sold clothes in a clothing boutique on Rundle Street when the Grand Prix was on back in 1990, and I had no idea. I got asked to measure a guy for his suit because I lied basically to get the job. And he said, well, you go and measure this guy for his suit, and then bluffed the guy that suits are baggy in Europe, so it's the baggy suit look. So you should just go for that because I couldn't measure them because I didn't know how to change it. So many, but again, you're looking at situations at the time. You go, how am I going to get out of this, or how am I going to make it work? And your mind has to work really quickly. Now, a lot of the time, it doesn't work, and you get caught. But again, it's teaching you for the next time how you're going to deal with it. You know.
So Kenny, what do you say? Say I'm a business owner. Let's just pick. Say I decided to sell honey. Say I love making honey. I have my own bees. Blah blah blah. You are my consultant. Okay, so you are my coach, and this is what I just about to say. And what do you say to me if I say this? So Kenny, you know I'm opening a business to sell honey, to produce honey. But Kenny, to be honest, I don't want to sell. I don't like selling. So do you have any suggestion to me, Kenny? I just don't want to meet with people.
Yeah. Don't sell honey. Go and work for somebody else. If you don't want to sell, you can't be a business owner. I've got a friend, and he's an engineer. Geez, I hope he doesn't listen to this. And he said to me, and he got money when he came out of an engineering company. And he said, I'm going to buy a business. I said, what do you mean you're going to buy a business? I'm going to buy a business. And then I'm going to get somebody to run it. All right, okay, good. Any type of business? Oh, I looked at a bakery, and now I won't say what he ended up buying in the end, because he might know who it is. So I says, what about that do you love? Oh, nothing. I hate selling to mum and dads. I said, but that's your business. You have to sell to mum and dads for your business. Yeah, but I want to build it up so somebody else can run it. Don't do it. Go back to being an engineer. Because unless you're driven in what you do, and you spoke about Natalie's husband there's no point. If your focus is just to make money and get somebody else to run it, don't run a business. Don't do it.
That's fantastic. Yeah,
it's pointless. It's because it doesn't exist. You look at how many big businesses and this is when women, I think, are better than guys here, because men's ego take over far too quickly than women's do. And that's the downfall of many, many guys, especially in construction, who go from this point to this point, and all of a sudden, in their mind, they're a rock star. And they go, yeah, I'm the guy. Okay. So they got all these other people to look after things and do hardly anything themselves. Take their eye off the ball. Company gets to a size that they can't manage, and all of a sudden, they start losing money. Why? Because everybody else within, now, big corporates are different, Gus, all right? So let me just make that clear. As soon as they take their eye off the ball, the guys who are looking after it for them are not driven in the same manner, wouldn't make the same decisions on the spot, wouldn't go and find that client. They'd more tend to go, it's all good. It's not all good. They'll not be looking at the P&Ls and going, what's happening here? You know, so if you don't want to sell honey, don't sell honey. Pretty much.
Yeah. I love that message. And to be honest, in hindsight, I'm sitting here talking to two business owners, Natalie and yourself. I don't have my own business, but I run a business. But equally, I agree with you. Even in my position, in the absence of a passionate of selling the brand, selling the solution, your team will not follow. I mean, there is no other. I don't know. I might be old school, but I don't believe in what I exactly believe in what you say. If the only purpose is to make money, then maybe going to Crown Casino is easier than opening a business.
Generally, what happens, I think, the money sorts itself out. If you tick the boxes, give the people what they want, be honest, have the integrity, whatever you're selling, you must deliver. If you do all them, the money will look after itself, unless you're spending it all the time and you buy the Ferrari, right? But if you keep those things together, you have to be a success. You have to be. There's no other way. But if you miss some of these out, then you're pretty much going to be a business that's going to really struggle always, because you're not driven. Your passion's not there.
Yeah, Kenny, we interviewed Jim Penman from Jim's group, and he said the exact same thing. If you focus on your customers and you focus on everything that you've just said, the money will come. The money isn't at the forefront. It shouldn't be, this is why you're doing it. You need all these things, and the money just comes. And he confirmed exactly what you've just said now.
Now, Natalie, don't get me wrong. At the beginning, the money's the only thing that matters, because without that, you don't exist. Yeah. So the initial part of that is, I need to achieve this to make sure I survive. But from that point on, it pretty much, it is what it is, isn't it?
Yeah. And I'm just looking at time, Kenny, and I did want to ask you, especially about, customer loyalty and things like that. Can you share with us, let's say, your top 3 strategies on how business owners can become their customers' favorite or preferred supplier? Because this is what everyone wants. Everyone wants to score that, that huge job, and they want to remain the favorite for that particular supplier. Do you have any strategies, let's say 3, that people can actually, yes, win it, but then maintain that relationship and become that preferred supplier? Because that is key. That is really hard to get on that list.
I found one of the key ones with me, because as I said, I've got a lot of relationships with the main guys who own the companies. Always be at the end of the phone. If they ring me, my philosophy is I always get back to you. If you leave a message, always. There's never been a time that I've not got back to anybody, even if people I don't want to ring. I'll always ring them back. So that's my very first one. And just because you're the leader of the crew doesn't mean that you don't have to ring anybody back. So that's the first one. Make it easy for them. In construction, the reason that my kind of company exists, which is cladding, rendering, texture coating, painting, moldings, all the external stuff, is because I take that element away from him or her hassle. So if I make it easy, again, they're going to go, oh, I know this guy's cheaper. But when I get eco, I know I'm getting the whole thing done. Even if there's a hassle, I ring Kenny, he gets it sorted, it's all gone. So that's worth more than money. So that's another one we go down the path of. And again, just take away their problems. For instance, if the framing's wrong, or this is that, or the scaffold's here, don't worry about it. I'll get it sorted for you, right? They 3 things, if somebody offers me that, they're working for me every day, every single day. And I'll pay them a bit more for it just because it takes away the pain. That's generally what people want. Doesn't matter what market you're in. You can sell whatever, but if you bring those things, I think, to the table, everybody wants an easier life, don't they? I think.
So I like what you say, Kenny. So I want to give an example here. Like usual, I want to bring my kebab shops to the example.
You're a kebab shop now. You're not selling honey anymore.
Nah. I'm not selling honey because I'm not. I don't like selling, so I'm changing to kebab shop. So imagine I have a kebab shop, and I have a staff, and my staff is Natalie. Natalie is my receptionist, my front counter, my kitchen hand, my everything. I only have Natalie. Now, one of your strategy is to make sure, if you want a loyalty from customer, is you need to solve customer problem. Now, I got one customer came in and basically asking for a menu that is not listed on my menu, for example. Now, because I'm a small business, I will be very flexible when Natalie not there. But Natalie have a different view and said, no, I don't want to do that. It's not on there and it's not part of my job. My question to you, how do you train your team? How do you train your staff when you are a small business to have the same passion as you, to have the same drive, to have the same, hunger? Because for you, it's your business. Eco-walling is your business. Mm-hmm. For your team, maybe that's not their business. It is not their business. So how do you create that? How do you create that mentality?
I think you got to be consistent, Gus. They know that I bleed eco. They know. When they see me putting signs up and they see me doing that, they see my passion, which again is to my detriment sometimes, because they'll go, whoa, calm down, Kenny. It's not bad. But they'll see that I'm more like, if someone picks on them, for instance, and I know they've done nothing wrong, I go beyond the point of letting the person know. No, that's not what happens here. He's a good guy. That in turn, I think, if they know you've got their back every day, it brings a little family environment. We've got, at the moment, we've got reviews for the end of financial year. And I was speaking to one of the supervisors yesterday. And he's been doing it for now 10 months. And he said, and this was a great compliment to the company, he said, I don't think if I didn't have the same circle of guys in this office here, I would still be doing this. Because he went into the prickly bush and thought, I don't want to go through here. But the fact he knew that we were going with him, he said, that's why I'm still here. And I've gone, fantastic. Because there's many, many guys who have come halfway through and went, I'm not doing this. This is too hard. But I said to him, every step forward you make now is a step you don't have to go back. And the problems you dealt with here can only get easier because you're going to change. The problems won't change. The problems will always be the same. It's how you're going to deal with them. You didn't know how to deal with them here. You knew a little bit better here. But then when you get to here, you'll know how to deal with the problems. And all of a sudden, the problems are gone because you deal with them just by chance you do, you know? I've lost my point here, Gus. What was the question? You want me to buy kebab? Is that what you said? Natalie wants a pay rise because she doesn't want to make kebab, she said. She'd rather sell honey.
I love honey, but I do like a kebab too.
Okay, now you answered the question.
Yeah,
sorry guys, the better thing you get in the kebab situation is you're standing next to Natalie, right? She doesn't want to do, so she can see. That's a lot easier because you're seeing exactly what's going on. It's like the guy who on the site who's got 4 guys. They learn from him because they see him every day. It's a lot harder when you're only crossing paths maybe once a week with some of these blokes that I've got, you know. So, but they've got to see that the message is always clear, and you've always got their back. That's a massive thing for people, I think.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely. And even you said, it's like a family, isn't it? You have the back of your family, have the back of your employees. That's what it requires. Everyone wants to feel like if something goes wrong, Kenny will be there to support me.
Yeah. Then you have to do it. You can't say I'm going to support you, and then they're left drowning, and they go, "Oh, you're drowning here. Good luck with that. You should learn to swim a little bit better." You have to get in and help. But I think one great thing that we've got here is me and Cleaner are officially the bosses, but we're a mum and dad company. The size has got no relevance to it. We're just 2 people who play our part within this circle. Yeah, I've got to win the jobs and I've got to run the whole thing. Cleaner has to deal with the accounts. But if Cleaner doesn't pay the subcontractors or the wages, the whole thing stops. If the estimator gets the quotes wrong, the whole thing stops. If the supervisor doesn't supervise the jobs right, we don't do work for that builder anymore. So if one of us doesn't play our part, and no part's any bigger than the other one, Gus or Natalie, every part's the same. It's just because if one breaks, the whole thing falls apart. And then you end up falling off your bike and looking to sell honey. I think I might sell honey, Gus. I wouldn't mind selling honey.
Fantastic, Kenny.
It is a brilliant answer. And Gus, I'm just looking at time now. So we are actually out of time, even though Kenny, we could continue talking to you for many more hours, I think. But Gus, I'm going to hand it over to you to wrap up for today.
Guys, I've really enjoyed this, by the way. And you speak about going through the tunnel. I was a bit apprehensive about this. I was quite scared this morning. All right. But it's been very enjoyable. It's been like having a good chat to you. It's been good. I've liked it.
Fantastic.
And think of it this way, Kenny, I've learned a lot. I'm sure Gus has, and I have no doubt that all our listeners have. So thank you too for being, authentic and honest with your answers and just bringing all these analogies that help us bring, being a business owner to life, because it can be hard. It can be lonely sometimes. And then, we can relate to it and go, yeah, but Kenny's done it, and you've brought that to light and given us some great advice. So thank you. Yeah.
Okay. So let me wrap up. Kenny, first, I just want to say on behalf of Leader Talk and Brainiac, we want to say thank you so much for donating your time. This is a non-commercial podcast. You do not get anything but sharing your insight and your business and your story to us. I hope the audience all over the world enjoyed this session. These are the key points that I really love to share back. We are better with problem. That's your opening line. We are better with problem, which I totally agree, because problem teach you to be better. Hard work create resilience. In the time where it's difficult, your story back to when you are 12 years old demonstrated keep working, keep pushing, because the hard work create resilience. Never, 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 never give up. So it's not only one never, you actually have 4 never give up. Never, never, never.
I'm going to send you that. I'm going to send you that picture today. I'll go and take a photograph after this, and I'll send it to you. You'll love it.
Thank you. Visualize your thorny tunnel. Make sure that you push through the prickly bush, as the light at the end of the tunnel create the success. I really love that, because we tend to stop entering the tunnel just because we see there is a prickly bush in the middle. Once you decide you are not giving up, this is what I like actually. Once you decide that you will not give up, it's not end there. You need to deliver on your promise though. It's not just about resilience, it's about delivering on your promise to your customer. If you want to be successful, find the team with the great attitude. It's not about only the hard skill. Focus on surrounding yourself with a soft skill attitude, and your business will thrive. I love this one. Don't run your business with a mentality of fur coat, no knickers. Right?
I've copyrighted that now, Gus, so you can't use that. Right?
Yeah. Don't run your business with a mentality of fur coat, no knickers. Save your money. Focus on cash flow. And lastly, love your business. Be proud and don't stop selling, because the minute you don't like selling, don't open a honey shop.
No, correct.
Kenny, Tosh from Eco Walling, thank you so much for your time today.
Guys, thank you very much. I've really enjoyed this. You've made my Friday.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kenny. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in. For more information on Leader Talk and for some great resources to help your business grow, check out brainiact.com.au. Thanks, everyone. Bye.